Okay.
Are we going?
Yeah, we're going. Snicked. There we go. No Broadway dancers over here at Lethal Comics.
This is our first X-Men centric episode, but it's not what you think because we are here.
More than meets the eye. Looks can be deceiving.
We are here to talk about the most controversial, reviled run.
People hate it.
On X-Men.
People hate this run on X-Men.
We're gonna dig into it because people are wrong. We're talking about John Romita Jr.'s run on the Uncanny X-Men.
John Romita Jr. Now, as part of this whole thing that we've been doing where we've been going and rebuying all our comic books, X-Men is what started it off. When we walked into that store and we went to the back of Comic Hunter and we saw all those boxes, it was literally you and I, first thing was, let's look at X-Men comics. And it was immediately, let's look at the 90s X-Men comics.
80s, 90s, because like both of us, I think, we might have had a smattering of these, but mostly we had the 90s Silvestri, Jim Lee, X-Men comics, right? And not enough of the older stuff. So
that's right.
We immediately decided to rectify that and complete these collections.
Yeah, and start going back. And as soon as you and I started going backwards into John Byrne and Cockrum, I'm forgetting someone too. There's
a bunch of people.
There's another guy back there.
But what we found was also like this whole run, Romita Jr.'s run,
yes,
pretty cheap to buy because no one cares about most of it, right?
Yeah.
But I think we're here to argue that it is some of the best X-Men comics in the run. It's from the standpoint of like pure storytelling and character stuff, like action scenes. Like it's just completely underrated, and we want to take a look at a bunch of these.
So besides this single issue that I'm going to tell you right now we're going to talk about later, probably in a Jim Lee episode, an X-Men episode. This is my all-time favorite comic book ever made. And it is a Jim Lee X-Men 272. I freaking love it. But as you and I were collecting again, I noticed that my favorite X-Men comics of this era, my favorite Claremont stories, were all illustrated by John Romita Jr. And the more that you and I got into collecting again, I realized I think the John Romita Jr. X-Men issues from that era are my favorite. The art is awesome. I mean, like he wasn't flashy like Silvestri or flashy like Jim Lee. He was just straight ahead, meat and potatoes storytelling, but great storytelling.
Yeah.
And the drawings are I guess him coming out of some sort of like Romita Sr-esque influence. So the bodies are all almost like perfect anatomy, rounded bodies. It didn't get into the boxy stuff that he does later.
Go on.
And I would say like the art is absolutely gorgeous. And rereading all these books, which is the first thing you and I did last year when we started recollecting, the stories are phenomenal. Like Claremont's on fire in these books.
Yeah, it's great, solid comic book storytelling.
Yeah.
And art. Like it's like, as you said, like it's kind of like I consider like journeyman sort of stuff, but you can see him evolving, and it's so rock solid that it kind of forms a foundation for a whole bunch of different inkers. Because I was like, as I was looking through these again, I saw like Romita Jr.'s style, his work in these issues varies wildly with the inkers he's got. And
that's fair.
I'm looking through them all, and like I'm trying to think about like why it didn't resonate with people, and you gotta imagine at the time, right? Like you've got Dave Cockrum, you've got John Byrne.
John Byrne
is his own story, right?
It's like trying to perform after Bowie. Like, what are you doing? It's going to be hard. And
but they do because they get Paul Smith in there.
Yes, that's right. That's who I was looking for, Paul Smith. That's the other guy that I was forgetting.
And then like I think there's like a bit of like fill-in stuff. Oh well, Cockrum comes back at some point.
Yeah.
After Byrne leaves, then Paul Smith, and then after maybe a couple of like fill-in things, I can't remember who was in there. You get this Romita Jr. run. So and then following that, you get like a bunch of Rick Leonardi, some Alan Davis, a whole bunch of Barry Windsor Smith.
Yep.
Leading up to some Brett Blevins, I think, leading up to the Silvestri run.
Into Jim Lee.
So what I noticed was like X-Men, at least from like Giant Size X-Men on, right? Especially through like the Byrne Paul Smith stuff, is a very sexy book.
Oh yeah.
And I mean like literally, like Claremont is writing really like thirst trap scenes. John Byrne is just totally like on fire drawing like sexy storm images.
Yep.
Paul Smith's just got this beautiful line. And then you get John Romita Jr., who is not sexy at all.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And there's like this sort of like, almost like erotica to a lot of the X-Men run, which is just not present here at all.
Yeah, it feels like it's not as prevalent. And we for the most part, I don't feel like there's a lot of Jean Grey. I think she's gone at this point.
There's Madeline Pryor.
In fact, like there's a lot of Rachel.
Yeah, so this issue is one of I think it's his second issue or one of his first issues. But like first of all, I love this splash.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah. This is inked by Bob Wyacek, which I love. Like I love this whole issue. This whole issue is basically just Cyclops fighting an octopus. I don't know why. Like he's married to Madeline Pryor.
Yeah.
These panels are great. You got some awesome Wolverine Mariko stuff.
Here's another thing that he does. I don't know whether he's getting this from his papa, but like these great Wolverine silhouettes will come up in Romita's work like crazy.
He does this a lot. He does a great Wolverine Logan. Yeah. Like classic shots of like Logan in the cowboy hat.
Oh yeah.
Like there's so much of that in his run. Here you go.
Oh yeah, let's see the octopus.
There's a ton of this octopus.
Look at this crazy skinny vertical panel. I honestly can say I've probably done a panel that is this long and skinny vertical the whole page maybe once or twice in 20 years.
Well, he does it here because it's a vertical shot of an octopus.
It works for the octopus.
Pulling him down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
But anyway, like so this is like early, like one of his first efforts on, and I think it's super solid. Totally. In fact, I think it's more than solid. I think it's stylish.
I do too.
Like I think there's like a definite style to this.
Look at this shirt. That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's like Scooby-Doo over here.
Yeah, and he drew on it. But the thing with Romita Jr.
Good silhouettes.
The thing with Romita Jr. is like he provides. If you've ever seen his pencils, like it's a lot of blocked in shapes, a lot of rough like black areas. He provides just a solid foundation for whomever comes on board.
Yeah.
So we're gonna see like.
I don't know if you've seen Capullo's pencils before, but he's kind of the same. Like
yes,
everything
similar,
is there.
Right?
It's like pretty much looked inked,
it's
but
all
like
there. Yeah.
light pencil. Yeah.
This is neat because this first of all, this is a cool cover.
That's a wicked cover.
But and I don't know if
also
did he ink
as much as everyone is like losing their mind for yellow Wolverine right now, I think it's fair to say that you and I are both brown Wolverines.
Yeah.
Yes.
I grew up with brown Wolverine.
Brown Wolverine is my guy.
Yellow Wolverine to me and
seems over the top.
It's kind of hokey.
Yeah, like when we were looking at Wolverine #1 yesterday with Hickman and Capullo, seeing yellow Wolverine in the snow is kind of weird.
Yeah.
You're kind of like and they're infiltrating a base, and it's like
you're
wearing bright yellow, my friend. Like if you're in your brown,
the earthy stuff feels more like Wolverine in the woods hunting kind of thing, right?
This must be a mistake.
I think that's just a coloring overlap.
Yeah,
that was just that was just black, and
I think it was meant to be black, and it didn't print properly.
So
have you ever had this happen to you? I remember I did a cover one time, and this happened, and they were like, "You didn't set up your blacks." Oh. This is the blacks not being set up.
I guess so.
Properly.
No, I don't think I've ever had that happen. This issue is John Romita Jr. inked by his dad.
No way! It totally shows. Look at that Wolverine.
And look at this. Like so, you
awesome.
can see John Romita Jr. in here. Whatever. 177. So
have I never seen this book before?
This is the issue right after this one, right? Wildly different.
Wildly different. Well, I mean, of course, Romita, like that's totally a Romita.
Well, check this out.
Oh, look, it's actually Mystique.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It's a fun issue. But like you'll see here, check out some of these faces back here. There were a couple of like they almost looked like.
I have to admit, I love Romita Sr. faces.
Oh, me too. But look at this.
My favorite.
Look at this. That might as well be
Peter
Spider-Man.
Yeah, that's Peter. Who is it supposed to be?
I think it's Colossus.
What? It just like looks like Peter Parker.
Colossus.
Yeah, it's Colossus, but it looks like Peter Parker. Wow, that's crazy. Is there a shot of Colossus in here? There he is. What's his name again? Corsair?
Corsair,
yeah. He's awesome. Oh, and then we got the really badass Mohawk Storm.
So I wonder, like, it makes me wonder how much.
I thought you just flew
Romita
by
Sr.
a wicked picture of Colossus, and I'm missing it. Oh, there we go.
Was he redrawing stuff? Was he just embellishing stuff? Like, the lines on this are so
good. That's awesome. That's freaking awesome. Oh, look at that Wolverine, so classic.
And then, so it looked
great.
like, oh, that's cool.
Oh, did he just turn into rock? What the hell happened here? Colossus, what went down here, bro?
Oh, I don't
Whoa,
remember.
James Bond comics? Yeah, that's what I was looking for. Look, is he nude? Is he running around naked Colossus?
Probably.
Amazing. That's hilarious. Oh, he's fighting the Blob.
Like his shirt gets.
Do you remember the video game? The big video game that had like, what was it, 4 to 8 controllers? And when the Blob showed up, he would just, I'm the Blob.
Yeah, we need that machine.
Yeah, we need that machine to go right over there.
I don't remember which issue it was. I wanted to look at, I think it's like one of these ones. So most of his run, I think, was inked by Dan Green.
Yeah.
But I found that like it's not like it gives it kind of a rougher look. This stuff, is it this? Oh no, that's Dan Green again. There are issues where he's inked by, oh, here we go. These are some of my favorite ones.
Ah, the Beyonder.
With the Beyonder. Like, so lots of Rachel Summers in this run. But these ones inked by Al Williamson.
Oh, no way.
And you can kind of see, like, you can kind of see here.
Yeah, we were just going through that Al Williamson book yesterday.
Where he goes, like, with Daredevil and stuff. You know, like, because like, the Romita Jr. Al Williamson combo is, I think, my favorite combo.
Oh, wicked. That's wicked.
But you can see, like, same pencils.
Yep.
But, like, just
completely
a totally different look.
But this is the look I like right here.
Me too.
This is like the classic sort of, this is the classic John Romita Jr. stuff with Claremont that I really like when it's this guy. This is great.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
This is
That's
all
insane.
like, this is all Secret Wars time and stuff.
Yeah, totally.
And actually, I was looking at it, like, he does these kind of grids, like simple grids, so effectively that, like, I was thinking, like, why wasn't he drawing Secret Wars? Like, he would have been a perfect guy to draw Secret Wars. Like, I love Mike Zeck to death.
Yeah.
But, like, Mike Zeck feels like he's fighting that format, where Romita Jr., I think, would have just naturally killed it.
So, like, my Secret Wars that I'm buying now that are, like, you know, a grade of, like, 2 or 3, they're beat to crap. They look beautiful. But, like, when we were at Comic Hunter the other day and I bought the 3 reissued Secret Wars from Marvel, Marvel's just, like, reprinting all their stuff again. That's good. Yeah. When I pick those up, like, it looks like dog shit. Like, because it even makes Zeck look terrible.
Because it's glossy?
It's glossy. The color's, like, wildly garish. It looks, and it makes the drawing just look like crap. Like, everything just looks awful. But I literally pick it up from the original, and it's, like, the Secret Wars looks beautiful. So it's. I wish they would stop doing those reprints on crappy paper. If you can't, like, replicate the newsprint, that
it's hard, like, to. I think there are.
You know what it's like? It's like when they reissued the Star Wars movies, but with, like, horrible
special
CGI.
editions.
Yeah, and they've got that scene with Han Solo and Jabba where he walks on Jabba's, like. It's the worst scene ever.
So it's like
having, I really wish they would remove
a CGI Jabba the Hutt in your Secret Wars comic.
That's what it's like. It's like all of a sudden there's this crappy CGI scene on this new printing that I absolutely can't stand. Now, you and I went to Heroes this year, and when we were coming out of the airport, who was there? The man, John Romita Jr. was waiting for his shuttle with us, with our shuttle, with his mom, and they were just going to, like...
He was walking a dog.
Yeah, they had family there?
They had to take their small dog to go pee.
Oh yeah, pee in the airport bathroom.
I didn't talk to him, I was too afraid.
I know, we both were. We blew that. And normally I'm really good at that, and I was like, I was waiting for my moment to go do it, because once I did it, that was like your window to, like, come in, and then we gang him.
You're just gonna wingman me.
Yeah, I was gonna wingman you in. And I've talked to him before.
Yeah.
But, like, I met him, I think the year before I met him and got to talk to him a little bit with Sanford Green at Dragon. He was at Dragon Con, and I got to talk to him. And he was really, really cool. And I got to ask him some questions then. But, like, when we had him at the airport and we were waiting for a shuttle, I was like, oh, this is going to be a choice moment to, like, sneak some X-Men in there. And I find, like, pros that are as big as he is, when, like, you and I come in, also as pros and ask them questions. They're like totally cool. They don't care. It's not like a fanboy asking them. It's like another practitioner, and they're like super cool about talking about it. But we just didn't have our thing. All of a sudden, like they had to go to another shuttle, and we had to go to another shuttle, so we never actually got to talk to him. Eventually, I mean, we've had Wes Craig on the show, but when we start having more people on the show, I would love to talk to that guy.
Oh man, you could have an endless conversation. I mean, he's
His
so
career is
prolific.
wild.
Yeah, he's worked on everything.
So I want to get into one of my favorite X-Men comics of all time. Is this one?
X-Men 207 was my buddy Stone who got me into X-Men comics.
Yeah.
This was the issue he picked up off the racks just based on this cover, and then became a super fan.
Is that not probably the most iconic X-Men cover of all time? Like, how do you beat that?
It's up there. It's one of them for sure.
So freaking good. So the story of this one, and just look at this opening shot. This opening shot is just bananas. Look at Wolverine in all his glory.
So this is Dan Green inking, and just as an aside, like the difference between like his like black spotting and lines on
His black spotting is genius.
Yeah, I like Dan Green a lot.
He does. He does like the Batman thing. You know, like you and I are both of the opinion that the front of Batman's face should be like almost completely blacked out into a silhouette.
I never want to see Batman's mouth.
Yeah,
I never
like
want to
just
see
hide it all.
Yeah.
But he does the same thing with Wolverine. He just silhouettes out his ears, his face into his chest, and he does. If you look at whenever he does his chest, it's also blacked out the same way that someone would black out, let's say Batman's face, and it's really cool. But the story in this one is amazing, and we'll get into Claremont again in a second because like I'm guessing by the end of this we're probably going to have like multiple X-Men episodes, just because X-Men in the 90s, right before Image broke, was the hottest, biggest thing ever.
I think it was the hottest, biggest thing ever.
Selling millions of copies, I think. It was like
from
crazy.
Like late 70s when Byrne was on there.
Yeah.
It just became the premier superhero comic series, and I don't think it ever let up until...
Just didn't let up as long as Claremont was rocking. And the story of this one is she had her scenarios with the Beyonder, and in that she became psychically linked with Wolverine. And in this comic is a series of Rachel Summers having nightmares of Wolverine stalking and killing her. Even though they're both X-Men on the same team, she has these nightmares of Wolverine stalking and killing her, and they happen over and over and over again. But Wolverine is in like look at this. Yeah. Look at that. Wolverine is like during this issue is in some sort of coma, I believe. He like, oh, what's this? Oh, Mia snuck some
kid art.
Yeah. Mia snuck some little animals.
At least
here.
You know she's reading.
We've got like whatever this guy is.
I think it's a lizard.
But with a dog face, this is terrifying, to be honest. And then just like, this is a pretty average snail.
So it's above average.
Yeah, above average. Yeah. However, he's in some sort of coma, getting his ass handed to him at some point. So he's pretty much unconscious and beat up for the whole issue. So, she's just having nightmares about him until Rachel starts to have like a breakdown, and she goes, like, here it is again. He smashes in and he's like stalking and killing her. It's like crazy. It happens a couple times in the issue. She's having these nightmares. It's driving her insane. She's just going mental. Like, look at this. She like pulls off her face to reveal her old self. It's like really crazy. And then at one point she loses her shit and she goes to like, basically she's turning evil because she's like the Phoenix too, right? Mm-hmm. So she goes to kill her parents. She's gonna go like hunt and kill her parents, and then what happens when she's at her parents' house? Wolverine shows up out of his coma, and yes, they are psychically linked, and yes, he is stalking her. So it turns out like it just flips around in real life, and he's actually stalking her, and it's basically like, if you hurt your parents, I'm gonna kill you, and that's where it ends.
It ends with him popping his claws.
Yeah.
Oh. Whoa.
But I don't think he actually kills her in this issue. 207 is one of the best X-Men stories that I've read. It's very personal, and it is just like you attach yourself to Rachel, you attach yourself to Wolverine. It's just like a brilliantly written comic with some of what I would consider Romita Jr.'s like best art. It is so easy to read. The storytelling is brilliant, and it is just like a completely fun read. Now, to get into some of the other things, like when I was a kid, Romita Jr. was like all about Sentinels and Nimrod.
Yeah.
So this comic here, 202, has probably, again, Rachel Summers. Look at that shot.
Oh, here we go.
Brilliant.
More Al Williamson.
Yep. This comic here has, look at Wolverine here.
Yeah.
Okay, this image of Wolverine stuck in my brain for like decades after I bought this comic. And when I saw this, I was like, he kind of looks like Gene Simmons. If I'm Kiss
like this,
in this
like,
shot. It's really weird.
I don't know, like, I challenge you to find a better depiction of Wolverine.
Yeah.
I mean, there have been many great depictions, but like, that is iconic.
Yeah, and I think it's the eyes.
Anyone who
the eyeshadow, the eyebrows touch the top of the eye.
Yeah, anyone who
hairy
disses
chest.
Romita Jr.'s run on this book, I think
ridiculous.
just needs to look at this.
Yes.
I mean, like, even the storm is iconic.
It's brilliant. Look at her eyes.
Looking storm.
It's just super cool. But this one has, I'm going to go pretty quickly. It has a great intro with Rachel and the Beyonder.
That's great.
These beautiful giant shots of the Phoenix exploding. Like this, okay, so you and I were talking about what the heck is with the Beyonder in his clothes, and you are of the opinion that he was meant to be like Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
And now that I think about it, he looks like he's wearing Soul Glow.
He's got the same kind of Soul Glow hair.
Yeah.
He's got similar sort of like jumpsuits. He's sort of pointy shoulders.
The white outfit with the high waist, like he definitely, now that you mention it, has like a very Michael Jackson look. But this starts to open up into like these Sentinels. And this one Sentinel just like bursts out of the water, attacks the jet, and it opens up into one of the best action sequences like in a comic I've ever seen.
A bridge.
Yeah, look at these shots of Storm in the cockpit trying to escape the Sentinel as he's hanging on. It's flipping amazing. Like, it's so rad. And then here we go. Wolverine jumps into the scene, and one of the most awesome, iconic Wolverine slashing out the back of a Sentinel's head and then getting smoked by it. And then it takes basically, the Sentinel has Magneto all wrapped up. Wolverine freaks out, goes to the legs of the Sentinel, slashes them apart.
This is back when Sentinels were a threat.
Oh, yeah.
They weren't just like knocking him over.
And then one of my favorite, so all of Romita's run, Colossus is pretty prevalent. And whenever Colossus is not in the X-Men, like on the X-Men 97 TV show, I'm kind of like, it's not really X-Men without the buddy cop team of Wolverine and
you bellyached for that whole
show.
Colossus,
because those two guys together are like the Batman and Robin of the X-Men. And just the scene of him pulling out a lamppost and just like clobbering the crap out of this Sentinel with a lamppost is brilliant. This is my favorite.
Go back to this
issue.
fight scene for a second, because I was noticing, like, here, like the way he's drawn
the gesture.
The gesture and the way he's drawn his back. This, you kind of get like a little bit of a preview of where Romita Jr. is going with his art, like, because he does Daredevil after this, and things become kind of blockier.
Yeah, but it gets blockier. This is kind of the closest to like real time, like rounded, doing good anatomy. I love
I love the blocky anatomy.
So that stuff is great.
It's totally solid. It just
it
just looks more. It looks like you're putting together pieces of anatomy out of blocks.
Also, this is Al Williamson inking, right?
Yeah.
So Al Williamson is obviously going to put his touch on it. So
yeah,
you're going
but
to get a lot of
just the shapes. I mean, you can see it evolving toward where he's going to.
So this is like one of my favorite comics ever with Sentinels. But then you get into these two comics here with Nimrod, and they are also bloody amazing. Don't worry, this one here.
Oh yeah, we're
going to talk about this one. It's staring at me. Issue 200.
One of our favorite.
We'll get to that. That's issue 200 is up there with one of our faves.
Oh, that's a cool Juggernaut.
Yeah. So this has Nimrod and Juggernaut, and Nimrod actually and Juggernaut go at it, and it's like all of these stories were like right from my childhood. She's in Africa in this issue.
Storm's lost her powers here. I love this pose.
Yeah, this is when she had lost her powers, and she's like back in Africa.
Really good panel.
That's so good.
Oh,
there he is, Nimrod. Look at Wolverine and his. That's classic Wolverine with like the fur bomber jacket thing.
He needs his hat.
Look at Colossus just running around in a yellow hoodie.
That's your boys right there.
Yeah, there's my boys. Look at them. That's them, like just chilling. And then like look at this awesome shot of Juggernaut. Just.
I love that like he's able to do these. Like this anatomy with like very little like rendering of musculature. Like that's just a big blank area, but you still get the idea that knee is bent. There's still a lot of weight on that foot.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's so good.
He's great at it. What about this one?
Yeah, this one's really cool too. More Nimrod. Looks like is that Black Tom? Do we have Black Tom over here?
Who's doing this? P. Craig Russell, guest finisher.
Yep.
Interesting.
Oh, P. Craig Russell.
Oh, because like he did breakdowns on this.
Yeah.
And then, like, okay.
Yeah, there we go. Who are these guys? Are the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants?
I
feel like a bunch of them get killed in this issue.
Aren't they Hellfire guys?
No, that's right. They're Hellfire. A bunch of them get killed in this issue.
Yeah, they're Hellfire Club.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I was reading this recently, and a bunch of them get wasted. Also, he's got like the funniest costume. Is this the guy that was played by Kevin Bacon in the movie?
Sebastian Shaw.
Sebastian Shaw. And then they got this kind of like husky, heavy set like rock and roll BDSM looking dude. And I think he gets wasted in the issue, but he's like, whoever came up with his outfit is amazing.
Cool pose. Not in a million years would I have guessed that this was P. Craig Russell.
Yeah.
Like I can't, okay, here maybe.
Yeah,
here a little bit. And this, yeah.
So, yeah, no, just these amazing Nimrod episodes. Oh, Nightcrawler's in trouble. Look at this. Look at this stuff. That is wild. That is freaking wild. Colossus just smashing the crap out of Nimrod. Yeah, that's awesome. Look at this. Look at that shot. Look at that.
He just flips him over
Badass.
by the legs.
Smashes him one way, smashes him the other way. Like Colossus in the movies, they do him almost no justice. I guess the first Deadpool movie is the first time we ever got to see some really decent Colossus.
Yeah, but he's kind of played as a joke.
Yeah.
You know, like you haven't really gotten a great Colossus.
That's the best shot ever.
Yeah. Well, we'll do a whole Art Adams.
Yeah, we're going to do an Art Adams thing. All right, are we going to get into it?
Yeah, let's.
We can't. Okay,
let's talk about it.
I told you. This thing we can't stop talking about. It's the most ridiculous thing ever.
Yeah.
It's the Trial of Magneto, and if you watch X-Men '97, they kind of like whizzed by it in an episode.
So this whole thing.
Oh, here we go. Is it there? You're gonna spoil it. You're gonna spoil it.
This whole issue is takes place in a courtroom, pretty much, right?
Yes.
Because Magneto is on trial for basically like crimes against humanity.
Yes, in Paris for some reason.
Is he in Paris?
Yeah. The trial takes place in Paris, and so when the verdict comes down of him being not guilty because he's in the court's eyes not exactly Magneto. And why isn't he exactly Magneto?
Because as we can see right here.
Who's this idiot again?
I don't know. At some point in the past, Magneto was babied.
He got completely babied.
Completely babied.
He was on some sort of mission, and this giant craniumed naked dude with a loincloth turned him back into a baby.
Yep.
And Moira McTaggart finds him in his helmet, just a little baby in a helmet.
Just finds a little white-haired baby.
Just a wee bairn in a helmet.
In a helmet on the moors.
On the moors.
Takes him in and raises him, and then there's a whole other Moira McTaggart.
This is the most ridiculous thing of all time, and you and I, we missed our chance again to ask Claremont about the baby.
I tried, but he was super busy.
Oh, he was super busy at Heroes. Okay.
We need to
We're
catch
dying
him,
to.
catch him
Okay, so we're shooting this episode right now. Just know, Chris Claremont, we're coming for you, and we need to know about the baby.
We need to know how this baby story happened. I don't know if it was him because I think it
But
happened.
then he like grew to be 40 years old again.
I think he rapidly grew.
Rapidly from baby to 40
But
in a hurry.
But long story short, he could not be convicted because
He was.
those crimes happened before he was babied.
That's right. So because he's been babied, he's not guilty. And the French are not cool with it.
Yeah.
There's a scene where the French start like freaking out. Now, we all know, living in Montreal, that the French enjoy protesting over almost anything.
I think that he was babied in an issue of Defenders. I don't. Sorry, everyone. This is a running joke between us. It's ridiculous babying.
Okay, who's all in the Defenders again? Let's go through who's.
I don't know.
Who's in the Defenders
Valkyrie,
again?
Black Panther, maybe.
Okay,
Sometimes
Valkyrie,
the
Black
Hulk.
Panther, sometimes the Hulk.
Black Knight,
Yeah.
Doctor Strange.
There's bigger
I don't
guys
know.
in the Defenders.
don't
But
know.
to get babied in the Defenders.
Look at. Oh, the indignity. Yeah, Magneto, first villain of the X-Men,
What would happen if
master of
what
magnetism,
would happen if we got babied?
gets babied in the pages of the Defenders, and then Chris Claremont's got to deal with it.
Just this asshole shows up and babies us. This wasn't Chris Claremont's idea. It must have been. It had to be.
I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't know. What I do know is he's picking up the pieces here, and Magneto got off of the murder rap because on account
I am
on account
Magneto.
of him being babied.
And I cannot be found guilty on the fact that I was a baby.
This had ramifications also because Martin McTaggart
Yeah.
later on we learn kind of
Right.
messed with his genes a little bit
this-
to make him
yeah,
not
so
evil.
we've been like making fun of this issue for almost a year.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll just sit there while we're drawing and start talking in Irish accents.
Scottish.
Scottish about getting
Martin
babied.
McTaggart accents.
Yeah.
There's something else I was going to say about this, and I don't remember what it was. But yeah, I think we can let this one go.
What's a wee baby? Charles, I found a wee baby. He seems exactly like Magnus.
Anyway, one of our favorite
Issue
issues.
200, Trial of Magneto.
I
Amazing
know
John
what
Romita
I was going to
Jr.
say.
action.
I was just going to say, I was just looking at this page, and I was going to say, like, imagine, so you've
you
got...
really need a Fig Newton?
Yeah, I need a Fig Newton. I do. I've been fasting for like 10 days. So I don't know who this is, Andrea somebody. But imagine this page drawn by anyone else in the like lineup of X-Men artists.
Okay,
It
I
would
think
have-
I know where you're going with this.
This would have been a giant image of like a sexy girl, right?
Sexy girl. I know
Right.
I would have.
Now here, this is just like medium shot.
Yeah, like who
Well,
cares?
that's
Just this is like babe and a. Who is she?
I don't even know.
Who are these? Who are these twins? We
Oh,
don't
they
even
might be are they
remember.
the Fenris twins?
Yeah, maybe.
I can't remember. Anyway, just illustrating that I think a lot of people's sort of displeasure with the Romita Jr. run is just that it was unremarkable and unsexy in their eyes compared to what had come before it.
I
In
guess
fact,
it's
I would
also
tell you,
playing up
I
against
think,
John Byrne.
I think
was
Romita
tough
Jr.
and-
has only ever drawn one sexy image in his life, and we have it here. It's not on the table here. We should go get it.
What is it?
It's in the Marvel swimsuit issue.
I don't know where. I might have taken it home.
No.
Yeah, I don't know where it is.
So what was I saying? He's only ever done one.
He's only John Romita Jr. has only ever done one sexy.
Yeah, John Romita Jr. has only ever drawn, I would argue, one sexy image in his life, and it is here in the Marvel swimsuit issue,
Oh, I
right
know what it is.
there.
That's supposed to be Forge.
That's Tony Stark.
Tony Stark
and Nick Fury.
Nick Fury.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
There it is.
I will say he did some kind of hot Elektra stuff at one point, but like
When? Hotter than this?
probably not hotter than that. That's some Tom Selleck business right there.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't think there's ever been a photo taken of Robert Downey Jr. looking that good.
No.
No.
Like he really sets
That's
a
Tom
tone
Selleck
there.
right there.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot more man in Tom Selleck
Actually, I would
than
say
Robert
that
Downey
like
Jr.
I don't think anyone draws like curly man hair better than John Romita Jr.
Neil Adams.
Except maybe Neil Adams.
So
But I
Neil
would take the Romita Jr.
I'll take
hair
it.
over,
I'll take it
over
too.
Neil
I'll
Adams.
take it too.
Yeah. Let's kind of wrap this up by
Yes.
seeing, because Romita Jr.
Yes.
leaves X-Men after like 25 issues or something, and he's followed by a lot of the guys we talked about.
Yes, Silvestri, Jim Lee.
But after Jim Lee leaves, and you get like a few...
Andy Kubert, Adam Kubert.
Right?
Yeah.
You get like, some of those guys on there. Who comes back?
Romita Jr.
Our boy, Romita Jr.
And he was doing Daredevil. He
X-Men
was...
issue 300. He only did a few issues.
I didn't realize this was a 300.
Yeah, 300.
Oh, look, it's got that like the shiny stuff from Wildcats #2.
That's right.
Yeah.
And you can see just look at the difference here.
That's a pretty dope looking Nightcrawler.
Look how
But
chunky.
completely different art style now.
Yeah, everything is blockier.
I always say this is like informed by trying to play with Frank Miller in his brain somehow.
Well, this is after he did Man Without Fear.
That's right. Yeah.
I think it's after. I'm not sure. But look at like everything is just made of blocks. Like all these guns. It's just like they're just cubes.
Yeah, it's all just cubes.
All
Everything
the body
gets
parts
boxy.
are just cubes.
And this is basically where he stayed from here on out. From here on out, he's very boxy. He's his inking style has a very unique look to it. He
like
becomes
a lot of
the modern
John
Romita Jr. Like this face right here.
Yeah, yeah, and I love that stuff. But I just think
sure.
I think it's interesting to look at. That's not him.
No.
To look at the difference.
There. That's it there.
Yep. He's also doing more different things with like page layouts and stuff.
Yeah.
Kind of based on look, that's a cool panel.
That's a great panel. It's all still there. It's all very cool, but he changed up his entire style. And that's a question that you and I are going to have to ask him. He's obviously answered that question 8 billion times.
I know he said many times that his style he just calls it a deadline style. It's whatever he can get done.
But it's not, though.
Yeah, that doesn't
the
account
drawing's
for
completely different.
Doesn't account for the evolution, right?
There's a completely different way that he draws
the
figures and the faces.
This stuff is cool. Like, I mean, when I first encountered Romita Jr., it was this style.
Yeah.
And this stuff looks a lot like his Punisher Warzone stuff and his Cable miniseries, which is awesome.
Totally.
Yeah, I'd love to relook at that Cable miniseries.
I think you need to. I think we should end off with this bad boy over here.
This one?
If you were around in the '90s, you know about the holograms.
What is this even a hologram of?
It's a Magneto.
It's a Magneto.
Yep. That was a big thing for a while. Notice it's kind of like looking weird. Kind of like if you catch the right light, it just looks like oddly brown now. I don't know whether that's because of age or what it was, but yeah, this is definitely the more modern version of John Romita Jr. I don't know if I like it better. I tend to have a nostalgia for the issues that we talked about earlier on the show.
So you'd never catch him doing these vertical
never.
layouts before this.
Yeah.
There's way more lines on the face. It's kind of more rendered.
Yeah.
Still good though.
Oh, it's still great. Everything's there.
Oh, this is
mixed
up.
Whoa, is that Jay Lee?
You got some Jay Lee in here.
Oh, wicked.
That's some Joe Madureira advertising.
Awesome.
More Jay Lee.
Yeah, look at this Jay Lee. Oh, man. Yeah. Jay Lee back then was so rad. I mean, Jay Lee is still rad.
Yeah.
But like, look at that Magneto. Oh, Jay Lee. So dope.
There's Chris Sprousner. Anyway.
Wicked.
I think that's it. I think that's what we want to say.
This is our first episode of the X-Men and probably our favorite thing in comics. We have a lot of stuff that we love in comics, but I think we definitely are like X-Men freaks.
Yeah. We're not alone.
Yeah, we're not alone.
Like
it's
many
very
people,
common.
We love the run of X-Men.
And like I can think of right now episodes where we would do like other comic pros that we've talked to about wanting to be on the show. They talked about wanting to do almost like 3 or 4 of them were like John Byrne X-Men, John Byrne X-Men, John Byrne X-Men. Can we do John Byrne X-Men?
We will get there.
We'll do that, but then you and I also want to do Jim Lee, and that would also be Jim Lee X-Men because Silvestri, we would do.
I would like to look at the Paul Smith issues more closely.
I think we should do a Paul Smith and Cockrum episode because Cockrum has some of the craziest costume designs. There's one where Cyclops ends up on some island with Magneto, with this girl wearing a weird shell merman outfit that is. It's something to behold. It almost needs an episode itself.
You could pretty much thank Dave Cockrum largely for the success of the modern X-Men.
Yes.
Just based on his character designs.
Yes.
And costumes. That's all him.
Yep.
Like Giant Size X-Men that's just him rocking it.
Yeah, totally.
But really, we just wanted to make an argument for what is, I think, a completely underrated run of excellent comics.
And I think like our love of the stories from Claremont in this time period are up there. We're going to talk about this again when we probably even have just a Claremont episode, but there was a Heroes I was at with Wes Craig where after Heroes there's a barbecue that we all go to that's catered by the comic store. Sheldon and his wife are amazing, and they had us over there, and a couple years ago it was me and Wes, and who plopped down right beside me eating barbecue? Chris Claremont. And then he went on like a rant or I don't know what you call it, some sort of wizard speak for 2 hours. And Wes and I were just listening to the entire behind the scenes of X-Men.
Wow.
And what he was thinking about when he was writing those X-Men and the state of where he's at now with
Did
Marvel.
anyone ask him about it, or was he just talking?
I definitely asked him. I definitely opened the doors, and the doors were probably the first 15 minutes of us speaking, and then it was just us listening, and the crowd got bigger and bigger and bigger at the table as we were all just listening to Claremont give us all whole court and just give us X-Men for 2 hours, and we were all like, it was something to be. You missed it. You would have loved it.
Yeah.
And if it happens again, I will also do the same thing that we almost did with Romita Jr. I will try and open that door to get him talking to you about X-Men.
Yeah.
Because Claremont's brain is amazing.
If he could just get babied, then he could.
We need to baby Chris Claremont so we could do it all over again.
Exactly. He could come back and write.
That's right.
Write
Can you imagine us drawing something for Chris Claremont? That would be my number one thing.
We'll do it.
Draw something for Claremont.
We'll do it, Chris Claremont.
We should get him in Lethal. Yeah, we should get him doing Lethal comic stuff.
We'll send him a Lethal
Yeah.
mug. By the way, if you want your own Lethal mug,
Oh yeah, we have Lethal mugs.
we got some of these bad boys now, so we look a little more official.
That's right. We have official mugs at Lethal Comics. All right, that's our first X-Men episode in.
And not the last.